Come, my friends. To understand the future, you must also understand the past. As the light of the gaunt light shone down on Otari, Physic exchanged a shiny with Tangletop for the key. Raphael found a stairway headed down a level in the outbuilding, but we knew it was not the time. Though our original plan was to go straight to Otari, Raphael brought up some ideas, and maybe going to the lighthouse first to investigate was a better one. On the way, we found a strange pool of blood that rippled all on its own, but knew it was no imminent danger and we should move on. We used a key to open a hatch to the lighthouse, which was empty, other than an eerie blue light emitted from a glass cage. The light was necromantic in nature, and more powerful than anything we'd ever seen. Raphael tried to break the glass, but to no avail, and I, Sage Tulok, looked out the window, only to confirm our worst fears. The light was upon Otari's graveyard. As we fled to Otari, we were met by the captain of the guard, Lardis Longsaddle. He mentioned a holy warrior, and then questioned our intentions and our involvement. Gerald, a young town's guard, led us with other reinforcements into the graveyard, where the ground was roiling and the dead were rising, hurling themselves off the cliff at the Dawnflower Library. We moved through the graveyard in force, quickly engaging and destroying skeletons and zombies alike. As the battle subsided, you could still hear the screams from below. The light began to dissipate, and the fog started to lift, but a more intense and focused light spawned a creature before our very eyes. As the guards ran, we prepared for another battle, and that's where we'll pick up today.
You guys ever just kind of a little bit drunk, maybe high, just kind of just go to bed, but then you get in your room and you just, with complete reckless abandon, just let your whole body just drop onto the bed, it feels like you're just floating, and you just boom, you land on a cloud, and it's like. When you're kind of drunk, it's like a really magnificent feeling. Anyone do that?
I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
No, I have a very expensive, very grown-up bed, and I cannot afford it if I break it.
Yeah, like there was a time when I didn't have a frame for a bed, and I could just like not break stride and flop into bed. But I gotta actually get into bed these days. Not just flopping into bed with reckless abandon.
I had a frame, but it broke.
I wonder why.
No, I guess it is kind of possible that I broke it from dropping onto it, because also trapped inside for a lot of the quarantine. There's no small amount of beer being consumed and enjoying the flop. So I sadly just didn't have a piece that I needed to like properly secure one end. So it was really just my fault. I just need to buy like a bolt, and I just didn't, and then I broke it. So now I'm like in my early 20s again, just sleeping on a mattress on the floor until I sort it out.
That was always my problem with it, as I never had a box spring or anything. It was always just a mattress on the floor. So if I flopped on it, I would hit the fucking floor.
I have guns under my bed, so I don't.
Scott's the most American Canadian I know.
Hey, man. Canadians can have firearms too, bro. As long as they're being used safely.
Thankfully, they're a lot harder to get.
At least we have that rule here in Canada. Well, I don't really have a segue for this, but we have this pretty crazy scenario in front of us. And a whole bunch of Walking Dead have just been defeated. And I think it's really quite apt to present to everyone another scene that was co-written by James and I. Mostly James, for sure, on this one. And let us take a deeper look at Raphael. The night is quiet and still. Even the chirps of the local insects have all but faded away. The air is hot and dry, typical in the nation of Thuvia, and the sky is inky black, devoid of the presence of the moon. Deep within the chambers of the Serene Spiral, a magnificent temple to Pharasma and centerpiece of the city of Lamassara, is a closed chamber. Its door heavier than any of the others, and its iron locks far more complex. The chamber beyond the door is long and dark, with vaulted ceilings and support columns, decorated with bas-reliefs of the boneyard. The room is dusty and festooned with cobwebs, as if long forgotten. But on this night, it is occupied. There is a tall figure in a dark robe standing to one side of a disused stage. The figure holds aloft a book, common enough, and a beautiful song of death and rebirth comes from them. The song is echoed by 4 others, also clad in dark robes. These others are divided into different tasks. 2 hold down a shuni securely to a chair, while one holds a piece of ancient bark between its teeth. The 4th wields a glowing purple needle, and they purposefully poke the shuni near his right eye. The ritual continues for several hours, the 4 robed figures switching roles between holding down the shuni, prodding him with the needle, and keeping him silent with the stick. Though eventually, the process ends, and the 4 shrouded beings release him to gather around the Master of Ceremonies. The shuni stands with a light whimper and a meager growl under his breath, and gingerly prods his swollen orbital. He then takes 2 weak steps towards the 5 figures. The master of the ritual snaps the book shut in unison with the end of the song, before snuffing out the only candle that lights the room. In the darkness, the only sound that can be heard is a panting as the shuni attempts to regulate his breath. Steadily, the panting slows and then stops. A tiny ice blue light pierces the darkness, then spirals out, healing the shuni's eye instantaneously. A tiny blue spiral for Pharasma remains. "Welcome," a deep voice says through the dark. "It is always an honor to newly induct a voice of the spire."
The lady shall keep it. What is my first assignment?
"We understand there is a town with which you have some familiarity on the southern coast of Kortos. You will be heading to Otari." And here we are, Raphael and gang, at Otari's aid in the graveyard. This terrifying, crabby spider creature has popped up. The guards helping you have run away, and Gerald looks like he is ready to run himself. But Tulok just yelled out at him with some hopefully inspiring words. Can I get a diplomacy check from you, please, Tulok?
Yes, sir.
Against Gerald's will DC to see if you can get him to stay.
Yeah, because I'd like to make a request.
Yes, please.
It's a 19. Come on.
And that will do it. And as the guards ran, we're maintaining the same initiative order. We are in round 4, and it is Gerald's turn. And with these words of encouragement, he steels himself and looks at this terrifying creature and steps over towards it and tries his best to smack it with his club for a sweet 29 to hit.
Oh, Gerald, my man.
And hits it for 7 bludgeoning damage. And he'll try a second attack and just barely makes it with a 22 and another 10 damage. Solid round for Gerald. Physic, what do you got?
Oh. So, Physic is going to take 2 stride actions to get within range of this here crab spider and shoot it with a crossbow.
Okay.
For 14 to hit.
No dice.
That's his turn.
That's his turn, okay. Next is this creature, who is going to, for the time being, attack with its jaws on Gerald.
Goodbye, Gerald.
Meets to beat on his 20 AC, and is going to deliver, a good solid 13 damage to Gerald. He did not take that very well, but Gerald also needs to roll a fortitude save. Rolls a whopping 25, so he's okay. And then this creature is going to shoot a quill from one of its legs towards Raphael. 23 to hit.
That's a big hit, yep.
You will take 12 piercing damage.
Whoa!
Oh boy, that's a big hit.
That's half my HP.
And then it will shoot one at Physic, but misses with a 12. Oof. That brings us to Tulok.
Tulok, seeing this beast appear, is still quite far away from the action. So he will move, stride 25 feet to the south, and looking on at this fucking thing just take Gerald, like, huge hit on him, shoot a quill, and he just telekinetic projectile grabs a cobblestone off the sidewalk and just smashes it into the face of this beast. Natural 1.
Here we go.
So sick.
Smashes it into Gerald's face.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Oh boy is right.
That's
So I just want to clarify something here. There's with Gerald, he's essentially going to have a hard time maintaining his will to fight here. So once you've convinced him, that first one was I gave you as a freebie, a free action. But from now on, if you want him to remain in the fight, you're going to have to. Someone's going to have to spend an action trying to convince him. So right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to allow it to roll over to the end of his next turn. But after his next turn, he's going to need some more convincing. The guards continue to run because they's chickens. They aren't nearly as prepared for this mentally as Gerald is. Raphael.
First action has to be a battle medicine. That hit me so hard.
Yeah, that was big.
So that is essentially a 1-action treat wounds. And that is a 22 on the medicine check, so he's going to get 2d8 back.
Okay. Can you also give yourself an extra 2? Because I had a mistake on my stat block here, so I did 2 more damage to you than I needed to.
Okay, so that puts him back up to maximum health, which is good. Second action, he's going to raise his shield, because what the fuck?
Yep.
And then third action, he's going to move in to flank with Gerald.
Oh, nice. Okay. Get the old flank on. And Gerald is up, and he is going to swing his club. Oh my God, Gerald. Why am I rolling so high with these guys? 29 to hit.
Oh.
Which makes it a crit with the flat-footed AC.
Yeah.
And Gerald deals 24 points of damage to this thing.
Holy shit.
1 hit, 1 kill.
And it's looking rough. It's looking super rough.
Gerald, you goddamn animal.
Gerald's MVP, baby.
Seriously, I didn't.
Can
expect
Gerald
this at
be my
all.
backup
I wanted him to
character?
be awesome. Oh, sorry, sirs. Holy mackerel! I didn't know I could do that. And he's starting to worry now that he won't be able to repeat it. So he's gonna get ready to run away. Physic, what do you got?
Wait, that was his whole turn?
Oh yeah, he only swung twice, didn't he? Or he swung once?
Swung
Swung
once.
once?
Yeah.
Oh, he swung once.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. I'll tell you what he's going to do is he's going to, because he's getting a little worried, he is going to step back. Actually, he's going to, he's going to run back a bit, and then he basically drops his club and pulls out a crossbow. And now it's Physic's turn.
Okay.
I shouldn't have
So-
said anything. That was fucking pointless.
I was really looking
in a
forward to
worse-
that flat foot attack.
Yeah, put us in a worse position.
Yeah, well, here we are. So physics, but like I could inspire him to stay, but he wouldn't like come back and close the distance this turn, right? So Physic will reload and shoot with his crossbow. Fuck, for a 13 to hit,
No. You're rolling
and then
bad today.
try to convince one. Sorry, what was the name?
Gerald.
Gerald. Yeah.
Why is everyone having a hard time remembering the name Gerald?
Because we're all thinking Gerald now.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, geez, you guys want to play that card game I forget the name of? Oh, what's that?
Gwent.
Gwent. Oh, let's play a game of Gwent when this is all done, guys.
So I would like to toss a coin to my Witcher. Wait, no. I would like to convince Gerald to stick around.
Okay, roll me a diplomacy and give me some Physic voice.
Oh god. That's a 5.
Okay.
So
give me
I
some
imagine what
unconvincing
Physic gets
voice.
out is something like, Gary, we need you, Gary.
And like to the north of you is like one of the guards is like, oh, sorry, I'm not coming back. And you accidentally called it to one of the other guards. Oh, it's too scary, eh?
Okay, I guess. See ya.
And that's your turn?
That's gonna be my turn.
Okay. And this creature is going to start backpedaling away from Raphael. And is going to move its full complement for a single action. And it turns around and shoots a 15-foot cone. Oh, man. That's not nearly as big as I thought it was going to be.
This map's huge.
Yeah, right? It's so deceptive. I guess it probably wouldn't have done that, actually, now that I think about it. Let's see. It knows the distance of its own shit, right?
What's its intelligence?
Good question. What is its intelligence? Not as low as you'd think.
Then probably, yeah.
And, yeah, I think if it just stays in its spot,
Nope.
can't get both of you. Oh, damn. All right, it's
Suck
going to
it,
like
Marn.
kind of scuttle in the spot and still shoot this 15-foot cone out, and it's going to hit Physic. I need a reflex save from you, please, Physic, as this spray of toxic oil shoots out from its mouth.
Oh, lovely. That's a 15.
And that is not going to do it. It is a failure. You take 10 poison damage,
Yikes.
and for 1 minute you have weakness to fire 5.
That's so many.
Double yikes. Yeah. Nobody light a match.
You're the one who's going to be lighting a match. That's the issue.
Right? And then it's going to start to scuttle away. Tulok, finally your turn.
All right, so Tulok has tried to get a telekinetic projectile in there a couple times this fight and just has missed every time. So getting frustrated and like angry in the rain and all these horrifying things that he can do nothing about so far, he just raises his hands and with just a glowing purple light that's intensified since gaining this level. He shoots out magic missiles at this piece of shit.
Oh boy. Oh no.
All right, and I know I can't miss on these, so suck it.
So rude. All I've ever done is try to kill you.
Yep. So 4.
4 damage.
3.
3 damage.
Ooh, and 6.
And 6 damage.
For a total of 13 damage.
Boy, it's looking rough. But it ain't down yet. Top of the order, guards continue running. Raphael, what can you do?
Raphael, first action is to raise that there shield. Second action is a full stride. Third action, he is going to strike out with his magicked up dagger.
Mm-hmm.
That should be a 24 to hit with the +1.
That hits.
Okay. And that will be 8 points of piercing damage as he just lunges at this thing with this shimmering pharasmic dagger.
Hell yeah.
Oh, man. And you kill it.
Yeah, buddy.
It had 6 HP left.
Suck it.
He attacks this thing like Leonidas from Sparta, just lunges at it, shield up, dagger in one hand, and just drives it into his face.
Oh, amazing. And down it goes, and you get some of this toxic oil on your skin, or on your paw, but it doesn't have any major effect on you, and it's just gross.
That's all 3 actions.
And the combat is over. Gerald turns around and is like, wow, that was really something else, guys. Oh, jeez. You really kind of hit it with those magic force things, and they just stabbed it in the face. Wow, that was something else.
Raphael's like riding this thing, trying to throw all of his weight into getting the dagger out of its carcass.
And as you're doing that, you realize like this as much as the necromantic energy was coming from the gauntlet, this is very much is not an undead creature. It stands out to you quite a bit.
Can I roll a check on it?
Yeah, it's occultism, or again any lore that might apply.
I will aid. Or attempt to. Nope.
No, you have no idea. Okay. Yeah. This is definitely an uncommon creature.
He gets off the back of it, wipes his dagger off on the grass, and resheaths it as the magic aura around it dies out. That was the last round for magic weapon.
Oh, nice. Okay. Lucky.
And then I guess he starts just booking it for this cliffside to see if there's any undead still doing undead things at the Dawnflower Library.
Yeah, you get over to the edge and you can see that there are a number of town's guard and some townsfolk, and they're just sort of like there's like dead bodies littered all over the place, and there's just it seems that. As you peer over the edge, you see a couple more go down, and there's a bit of a fight happening, but for the most part, it seems to be subsiding and ending. In fact, there's even people that have taken the time to sort of set themselves aside while the last are being dispatched and like are weeping and crying with like just trauma. And you can even spot a couple people like standing over a couple of the corpses. In pure astonishment, and some crying, even one person cradling one, crying their eyes out, as it dawns on you that the loved ones and fellow community members of Otari that have died have been raised up to attack their once loved ones and friends.
Which is
members.
Especially poignant for us because we've seen it happen to Small.
Right? And with the light gone, you can assume that no more will rise for now. And the clouds part, slowly but surely, and the rain subsides. And by the afternoon, the sun comes through again.
What could have possibly stopped the gauntlet? If we didn't do it, then there must have been some outside force, was there not?
Maybe it only has so much power, Raphael, and that was the extent of it for the day.
And what do we do, Mr. Dulac? Do we wait here for tomorrow? For another light to shine upon this graveyard and draw more of the loved ones from the graves where we have so successfully secured them?
Yes, I'm sorry, Raphael. I know this must be hard for you. And your convictions. I think we should talk to the captain of the guard. Perhaps we can rally them and we can use them to fight this evil. Perhaps we should have done that all along. Perhaps Samal would not be gone had we done that.
We should rally the guards. Perhaps they can help us with the problem we are having with the chapel. But do we dare drag more innocent souls into this fray that could so easily be succumb to the undeath like Samal? Do we ask the guardsmen to face that, those with women and children and husbands and families? Can we ask that?
Well, we can just put it forward. The decision rests with Captain Longsaddle. And I don't know if you know him, but he probably won't be eager to help. He'll just throw blame.
I think we just saw in the graveyard that we can use all the help we can get, but good luck talking any sense into Longsaddle.
I see your points, but I am reluctant to involve more innocence in this quest that has already resulted in so much loss, and so near of death to me, and to you, and to Tulak. The three of us have already almost died. It has been less than 24 hours since I have taken up this quest. And bringing in outside forces, bringing in the town, I am hesitant to do so. But as always, I trust the wisdom of Sage Tulak and the intelligence of Physic the Slouch.
With that, Tulak nods his head, and I think he starts pushing his way back towards town. Potentially just climbing down the cliffside path towards the Dawnflower to see what help he can offer.
Yeah, you can. There is a path built into the cliff that few people actually use. A lot of the acolytes and whatnot from the Dawnflower Library will actually take the time to walk through the streets of Otari and take the long way around, just as like a meditative sort of walk. And they usually do it daily. It's usually tourists that use this walkway down the cliff. And getting to the bottom, the scene just becomes more and more brutal and obvious. No small amount of the town guard has been killed. And
I think Raphael will slowly make his way through the end of this fray and administer the last rites of Pharasma where it's necessary and attempt to stabilize any guardsmen that he can otherwise.
And I mean, if you guys want at this point, you could just be a part of the recovery efforts and spend your day, helping, fixing things and treating.
I don't know if Raphael has a choice morally, or Physic for that matter.
Yeah,
Physic would definitely be treating wounds as much as he possibly could in the area.
It'd be a good opportunity for Tulak to do some research in the library if he wants to escape from the carnage, this scene. I don't know. I don't want to play your character, but I've always kind of seen Tulak as like a very sensitive loner.
Yeah, I mean, that's not necessarily wrong for sure. I think that he is good-natured and would help a little bit in whatever capacity he could, but there isn't a lot that he can do. He's got no...
I think Vandy would probably spot you feeling helpless amongst the carnage and ask you to come in and help, like, inside the library where, you know, some of the undead have got in and kind of like knocked bookshelves over, and there's some like reorganizing that needs to be done. And she sort of asks you to aid the acolytes that are there that are, you know, younger and unsure of themselves, and to help reorganize and fix things up a bit. And while she, of course, goes out and does her own bit for healing.
And I think he'd stick around with that for a little bit.
Yeah, that provides you the opportunity to like reorganize and help, but also maybe
I think
do some
he
research
would
as you're
help
doing
for
it,
a
if you
little
like.
bit, and then kind of decide that this is not important compared to other things he could be doing, such as some research.
Maybe look up what that spider thing was. And why necromantic energy brought it into this realm, specifically.
I was thinking about the whole research subsystem and how you have these specific topics that you can research, but then why not also allow you guys to research, take the opportunity to research about these creatures that you might encounter along the way and try to discern more in case you encounter more, of course, right? It doesn't have to be just locked into the recall knowledge mid-combat or before combat every time.
The other thing that he'd be wondering is, who is this spiritual warrior? I can't remember exactly what Longsaddle said. He wants to know who that is.
Sure, and by the time you get down there, you haven't spotted anybody that stands out as such to you.
Okay, I think he'd ask around about that.
Sure, and for the most part, no one seems to know who you mean. When you specify this so-called holy warrior, as Longsaddle put it, and they're like, I don't know who you mean. Like, what are you talking about? And you can even come across one of the guards, the guard that was supposed to hunt the warrior down, and he's just like, I don't know, dude. Like, wasn't here when I got here. You guys might remember that all guards are East Coast Canadians, so so I wasn't here, and I was looking for her, but then I got overwhelmed by all them walking guys there, all the ones that weren't alive.
How did you know who to look for if you didn't know who they are?
Well, that's just it about that Longsaddle there. He just kind of tells you what to do, right? And it doesn't really give you a whole lot of detail. So I wasn't sure. He said
Tulok
warrior,
walks away
so I was looking for
before
someone
he's
in
even
armor.
done talking.
He said she, so I was looking. Okay, thanks.
This is borderline offensive,
Yeah.
Baron.
Hey, I'm from there. I can do it.
Okay, so I
works?
think that Tulok would also like to research. He's just going to continue his research on Belcora.
On Belcora. Okay. All right. So you have you are taking a look in the library here. So you can you can attempt a society check in here or an appropriate lore.
Okay, if I
it's
go
there.
to the bookstore, what was the bookstore called again?
Odd Stories, I think it is.
Odd Stories.
Books and shit.
And speak, books and other dope stuff. Can I talk to the lady who works
It
there?
is two men that work there, actually. Morlebent and his husband, Carl.
Okay.
The most awkwardly phonetic name of all time. Carlthe. Carlf. I don't know how to say it, but that's what I'm going with.
And then what type of check would it be with them?
It's essentially the same.
So I can't use like a diplomacy check anywhere, hey?
So before a gather information, which I would say you can maybe do. You can attempt that again.
Okay, I'd like to do
but
that.
what you're looking at here is you're applying it to specific, again, venues. So there's either PC Recollection, Odd Stories, or the Dawnflower Library. But yeah, you can apply it to whichever one you want. They just each have limited amounts of information available.
Right. I haven't successfully got it from anywhere, so he's just going to try over there to try something new, and rolling a diplomacy.
And yeah, you obtain a little bit more information. And you did it at Odd Stories or in the library?
Odd Stories.
Odd Stories.
So now we have 2 of 3 pieces.
Yeah. You pop in and Morlebent's not there, but Carl has a brief conversation with you, and
Played by Mark
and
Evan
helps you
Jackson.
piece a bit of. I have no idea who that is.
He's the husband in Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
I've watched
great.
like 2 episodes.
Oh,
of Brooklyn
okay.
Nine-Nine.
Nice.
Yeah,
it didn't
Kevin,
make me
Kevin.
laugh, so.
It's a funny show.
I love that
Yeah.
show.
Yeah, it's really good.
So yeah, you do get 1 more point towards your first threshold, but still no information to offer yet. But however, that's not entirely true because that takes you about 2 hours. So you could spend the day yourself just focusing on this and do multiple checks if you like.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why don't you hit me up with another check and location? What do you want to do?
Okay. So I can't do it there anymore, right? So I have to go somewhere else?
No, you can still do that. You haven't reached the maximum there yet. You can just
Okay.
continue talking if you like.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. Continuing talking.
Yeah, you got a 23. You
Ooh.
are successful.
Nice.
And that puts you 1 more point towards your goal.
Well, that's 3 of 3 now.
You're just one of those people that sits in a bookstore and reads an entire book before they leave.
All right, so that actually puts you at 2 of 3 from Odd Stories. 1 other one was succeeded in the PC Recollection category. So you're 3 out of whatever the full maximum is.
You need to get the 3 from the same venue in order to unlock something.
No, not necessarily. So your points total, like collect total, but like Odd Stories only has 3 points available to you, research points.
Yeah.
The library only has 3 research points available to you, but they stack. So
Yeah.
you now have 3 points, but you've not reached the first threshold yet.
Oh,
I thought the first threshold
I thought
was
it was
2.
3 because Duncan got 1 and I got 2 now. So it's 4?
Nope. The
Or
town of
more.
Otari has different levels of thresholds at different numbers. That's probably where you're confusing. That they have that research topic as well as the town of Otari.
Okay. And I'm
Yeah.
researching Belcora.
Correct.
Okay.
So that's another 2 hours of conversing. Do you want to continue?
Sure, yeah, I'll spend the whole day there. Let's do it.
It's just you and Kevin.
He just keeps
And,
like looking at his
we should really
sundial and being like, yeah, we're almost closing. No.
yeah, we should really just rename him Kevin because Carl is such a stupid name. Carl. 23. You got a 23 again. You achieve all of the information you can from the Odd Stories. You and Kevin have a lovely chat while
Great
sifting
chat.
through some books and him pointing out different references and all this stuff and following your lead while you follow his lead and you guys find these bits of information that you need. And you do finally reveal the first bit of information regarding Belcora Harovex. You know that Belcora erected the lighthouse known as Gauntlight, finishing its construction around the year 4234 AR, which is AR is, I always forget this, Absalom Reckoning, I believe is the abbreviation. This is approximately 487 years ago, based on the current year. 10 years later, in the year 4244 AR, one of Absalom's hunting lodges sanctioned a group of adventurers known as the Rose Guard to investigate the rumors surrounding this remote lighthouse. This is before the founding of the Pathfinder Society, which took place in 4307 AR. And the Rose Guard faced and defeated Belcora, but not before losing one of their own, Otari Ilvashti. So some of this you already know. And it's basically cross-referencing and confirming some of these truths. But this time you've got more specific dates. But that is where you are at with your information on Belcora.
Thank you very much for your help today, Kevin. I very much appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem there, friend. My pleasure. It's always good to talk to another academic, if you will.
And he heads back out in the streets.
At this point, it is 7:45 in the evening. and the sun is getting, or the sky's getting dark, and you're probably all stupidly exhausted.
Level 3.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I think Raphael would crash in Arthur's old fishing shack for the night. Hey, what's the deal with this exploded house here?
That is the ruins of the Thirsty Alpaca.
Oh, okay, got it. Never mind.
Yeah. First featured in physics scene. It's basically just a large tavern that had quite recently collapsed, just suddenly collapsed. So it just fell into the ground, essentially. Something below had just like crumbled its foundation. And there were actually several employees and visitors inside at the time, and the tavern's owner has been missing ever since. Nobody even found his body. But I think a couple people died. Yeah, a few people died. Just this freak accident that happened not all that long ago. And basically today, locals actually avoid the ruins a bit because they claim strange lights and eerie sounds come from it, and there's a sort of superstitious rumor going around that it's haunted.
Ooh, note to self, check that out later.
Yeah. Hope they haven't seen the graveyard lately, because they will shit
Okay,
themselves.
can we take 8 hours and rest and then decide to
Oh,
meet up?
hell yeah.
Meet up on the Gaunt Trail tomorrow morning, or wherever you guys want to meet up tomorrow morning?
Oh, yeah.
I need it spells real bad.
Yeah, I would imagine you guys want to two things. One, report back to Rin the fact that you didn't manage to get Samal's body. And two, you know that Tulok's not feeling very well.
Oh, yeah. Fuck. I would need 16 hours then, because I need a proper rest.
Well, we still have to talk to Longsaddle too, so we might be in town for a couple days.
Okay.
Like
Yeah.
at whatever point in the day, like that you need to, James, you can decide Raphael stops and takes his rest. It doesn't have to be when Tulok finishes his research. But you guys can we just kind of wave and process that rest to call it a day, and you guys just choose what time you want to meet. You know that around 9 a.m. is when the disease started to hit Tulok yesterday.
Okay, so Raphael would want to call it off, so he has... as soon as Tulok's done, he'll spend the 8 hours with him doing treat disease. That is a medicine check against DC 15.
Fingers crossed, everybody.
That's a 17, so that's a success. That gives you a +2 against your saving throw.
Nice. And Fizdik, you have the vaccine to add to this?
Yeah. Yeah, just to make sure that we're not playing around anymore, he will have crafted 2 minor vaccines with one of his reagents in the morning.
And then after that, Raphael would want to take 8 hours, so...
And how does what does the vaccine add?
The vaccine adds a +2 bonus.
What kind of bonus is it? Item bonus?
Yes.
Okay, so that will stack, which is great.
So 26 I rolled.
26. That
Crit.
is, I think, is a success. Let me just double check.
Okay, so Raphael would be good to go
let me
around
just
noon the next day with the 2 8 hours if Tulok finished around 8 p.m.
26 is a critical success.
Hell yeah. Let's go.
Which
Where am I
it basically counts as 2 saves, as far as I know. So I think you're in the clear. I think you managed to shake off the old flypox with a little aid of your friends. Whew. With a little help from your friends.
The true vaccine is the friends we made along the way.
at? Oh, boy.
You can't just say that again. Oh my god. Every chapter, there's going to be one of those for an episode title. I can feel it.
So around noon, once Raphael's had his full rest and he gets his spells back, he'll meet up with them at Rin's place, I guess?
Yeah.
Wicked. All right. Everyone process their rest appropriately if they need on the old character sheet.
I don't know.
I'm sure we can hand wave treat wounds shit and just like you guys are healed up, ready to go.
I actually don't need anything, believe it or not. What about physic?
You get your spells back, all right?
La-dee-da.
Would you guys need healing?
Nope.
Well,
me.
not if we're about to hand wave everything.
I mean, Physic can just keep trying on himself over time and probably just get it all figured out.
Spend all night on the couch, just every now and then be like, okay, back to watching TV.
Just like putting more bandages on. Compress on his back. Heat, hot water bottle on his feet.
Yeah.
And we'll say come 9 a.m., Tulok realizes he's in the clear, and you guys can meet up at Rin's shortly after.
I need until noon, but yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tulok is fine. Up to you
I did the
guys.
math on it. If
totally up to you
Tulok
guys.
ends at 8, I need until noon to get 2 8-hour rests in, essentially.
All right, well, it's the next day. You guys can do your daily preparations and whatever it is that requires as well. So,
Yeah, Tulok wakes up and feels a lot better. His head's a little more clear and his body feels a little more energetic. He casts mage armor on himself as he sits on the cushions inside his caravan, kind of recalling the day before. And gets up, ready to move on. Not necessarily hopeful for the day, but invigorated to start.
all right.
Raphael wakes up and he feels this intense burning behind his right eye where the tattoo is. And he can't seem to shake it all morning. And he goes to pick up his gear and head out to meet you guys at Rin's place. And he sheaths the dagger and reloads his belt. And he picks up his shield. And the light in his eye, in the tattoo in his eye, seems to go out. And it shoots down his arm. And this blue, pharasmic energy extends out of him, engulfs his shield, and completely absorbs it back into his hand.
Ooh.
What?
So the
Okay.
soul-forged archetype means I essentially, what I've done is Raphael has bound this shield to him as his soul-forged weapon or his soul-forged armament. So now he can manifest a piece of his soul in the shield with a single action. So he no longer has to carry the shield. He can just manifest it in his hand using his soul. It has some other powers, which we may get to or not, but he has this soul shield now. So yeah, the shield has bonded to a piece of his soul, and once per day, at any time he can call it forth. So, and then he makes his way to Rin's place.
And as you guys sort of meet up at the crossroads towards Rin's, and you make your way down the cobblestone road, you see Longsaddle standing outside of Rin's Wonders
Classic.
with another man. Longsaddle has his back facing you, and you catch a glimpse of the other man over his shoulder. Standing about medium in height, he's a dark complexion, deep brown eyes, and near black hair that is accented with smatterings of salt white strands near his temples and chin. It is, of course, Osif Menhimes, Mayor of Otari. Getting closer, you can hear the conversation is actually quite heated and quickly becoming one-sided. You hear Osif speak. I will hear no more of it, Longsaddle. Those three are not to be interrogated based on your biases, assumptions, and dare I say it, general crankiness. Longsaddle makes a small strained noise as if to interject, but Osif ignores him and continues on. Furthermore, credit where credit is due. You and your guard have my thanks for your efforts, but you and you alone are not solely responsible for this victory. You would do well to remember your days in Absalom, for it was your choice to come out of retirement here. A hierarchy and chain of command exists here in Otari as well, and I am at the top. You are a valuable member of this community, but you are not the only one with value. Longsaddle's stance stiffens as he is reminded of his place. Now stop wasting time on a pointless investigation. Get back to your duties and see to the recovery of the town for which you are responsible. And add to your list of duties a letter written by your hand and to be placed on my desk before the day's end. And it will be an apology to the entire town you just defended for letting your ego delay you in its recovery efforts. Or, if you feel you cannot maintain your station any longer, a letter of resignation will do. The choice is yours. Do I make myself clear? Longsaddle does not utter a peep, but instead briskly salutes, turns on his heel to march away. Immediately spotting you behind him, he pauses very briefly and then marches on with a slight twitch in his eye. He passes by you, but does not look in your direction any more than he can help. Head held high, but pride clearly wounded.
Suck it, Longsaddle.
Oh my god.
He says barely above a whisper.
When he's 500 meters away.
Oh,
Oh
yeah.
my god. We don't hear physics voice much, but oh boy, what we do. And as he departs, Osif notices you. He has a bit of a concerned look on his face, but it quickly turns to a friendly smile. He says, the three of you, I hear we have a great debt and thanks owed to you.
Actually, it was mostly Gerard.
Who's Gerard?
I believe his name is Gerald.
He hasn't had...
Gerald!
No fur yet.
Oh, yes. Quite the baby face on that lad. He's a bit older than you think, though. Gerald, he really came out on top, did he?
Much to his chagrin, but yes, he was very much the hero of the day.
I always thought he had a little bit more to him than his nervous, shy self. I'll keep that in mind. Thank you very much, Raphael. How is everyone holding up? Yesterday was a brutal day, to say the least.
I think we're okay, but a shame what happened to the town. We never realized that it could go this far. We have been investigating at the Gauntlet, but this was a surprise, to say the least.
That we can agree on. Otari has been through a number of things in the past, and certainly none as harrowing as this for quite some time, but I'm pleased to know that we have townsfolk among us that know how to hold a blade and utilize their more mysterious abilities. He gives a nice nod to both Tulak and Physic in particular. And I do have a lot to get on with, my friends, but I do have one question for you all, although you are welcome to ask me if you need. But I was speaking with Rin, and she filled me in on the details. I'm very sorry to hear about the loss of Mr. Keth. But I was wondering if Rin was correct in that you plan on returning to the Gauntlet.
We do. We haven't recovered the body of Samal yet, nor have we got to the bottom of this mystery. It's only grown thicker now, and how could we give up now? With the townsfolk being murdered and brought back from the dead, it's out of our hands. We must continue.
Unnerving, to say the least. Well, I'm afraid a lot of our resources will have to go back towards the recovery and rebuilding of defenses for the city, should such an event arise again. But from the treasury, I can offer you a bit of a pittance for your continued efforts. Please, take this. And he hands you each a small coin purse of 75 gold.
75?
Ooh,
75.
Wow.
Oh,
A pittance for him. He's loaded.
Yeah. I don't think Raphael's
He's
ever
like-
seen that kind of money.
He owns the giant wheel.
No.
He owns the flume. His family has owned them for generations. And he basically, the other lumber companies in the area rent it from him. He's not just the mayor. He owns a huge portion of the lumber companies and interests and stuff in the area and across the Alacortos.
Yeah.
Is his last name Irving?
Oh,
It's,
deep cut. No, his last name is Menjimes.
Osa fucks, man. That's sweet.
Yeah, big old reward there. And unless you guys have any other questions, he'll be on his way to sort out some details.
Before he goes, Tulak turns to him and says, I heard mention of a holy warrior that was supposed to come to our aid. Do you know who this is?
I have heard of a new person in town. They've been in town for just a short while. I'm not sure about holy, but certainly a warrior. At least came dressed as such. They came in injured, but to be honest, I don't know the exact details. Perhaps if you ask around town some more when you have time, but I'm afraid I have very little for you.
Ah, well, thank you for the pittance.
Raphael's just like staring at the coin purse. He's never seen so much gold in one place.
Just like, should I even take this? Is this against my religion? It's so much.
Yeah, Physic is very much debating just bailing. Like, I got mine, but then kind of remembers.
Definitely,
What's at
at least
stake here?
flashes his mind across his mind. Yeah. And says, "Well, thank you again. Best of luck. When the town can help, it will try. Please don't hesitate to come knocking at my door, though I am a busy man. I will check in with Rin every so often to get an update. Thank you so much." And he goes off.
I could buy a house with this.
Yeah, you're just crashing in your Uncle Arthur's like tiny little shack right now.
Yeah.
Probably a hammock just along the wall. That's it.
If that.
And as he leaves, and you guys get ready to, you're probably counting your gold a little bit and get ready to enter Rin's Wonders. Rin actually comes out, and she beams a smile at you. My friends, I heard about all of your heroics. I had no idea you would be able to return when this happened. Please fill me on the details, but do so on the walk. We're going to Odd Stories. Come.
Raphael kind of hangs his head and feels a knot in his stomach because as much as they helped, he did not do what he was supposed to be doing.
And you have a short walk to Odd Stories, and you fill her in with the details. And as you arrive, she stops in front, and you see this 3-story stone tower rises from the black half of this like 1-floor wooden bookstore. A sign above the front door depicts a stack of open books with lines of magical energy rising from the pages. And while the shop's owner is indeed a wizard, Morlibint apparently had the sign commissioned in an attempt to portray the power of imagination within the fanciful fiction works and anthologies that are his specialty. Morlibint sells other texts as well, although he leaves the non-fiction curation to his husband, now called Kevin, whose expertise makes Odd Stories the primary source of textbooks and teaching tools for the educational pursuits that are usually held at Inkelholtz Manor. Rin turns and says, I commissioned Morlibint to help with a bit of research. I gave him the description of the creatures that you encountered that took Samala's life, and I asked him to investigate. Perhaps you can fill him in some more, and he could shed some light on the situation. And she opens the door and enters. And you can see Morlibint waiting. He has bright red hair that he keeps closely cut to his scalp, and light little spectacles on his nose. And as soon as you enter, he's like, Rin, heroes. Please, come in. I heard about your feats. What a great opportunity to assist you. I have been doing some research. Please, allow me to fill you in. Tell me your stories.
What is it you want to know?
Describe to me these creatures that you encountered, so that I can be sure that the research I have done has in fact been of aid. Been of usefulness. That makes more sense.
Well, we have found several different creatures there. Starting off with small, demon-like creatures called mitflits. Barely as tall as Physic, our friend here. Further...
Yes, mitflits, a lesser type of gremlin, if my memory serves correctly.
Yes, further we found their king, though we destroyed him. A large spider. We've seen many beasts of increased size. Flies,
yes,
maggots.
likely things in untraveled swamps and that sort. Yes, no surprise there.
But worst of all, we found these corpses, elven corpses that were brought to life by magic lights that looked almost like will-o'-the-wisps, but different, horrible. Samal has been taken by one. He walks now, too.
And even like glancing over at Rin to see maybe what her reaction is to revealing that news, she doesn't flinch. She sort of seems almost preoccupied and just allows the conversation to continue. Yes, this adds up. I was afraid it would be the case. The color of these creatures was blue. Is that correct?
That is.
I would imagine that if you were to see this blue light on its own and look extremely closely, you would, in fact, spot a face within. These are intelligent creatures, as far as I know. I have a terrifying depiction within one of these tomes that might display whether or not I am correct. And he shows you this image.
Eee.
And as much as it wasn't as well defined as that, there is this skull that floats within the light, and you feel like that's exactly what you saw.
Yes.
This.
I believe that is what we've seen.
He turns to Physic and Raphael for confirmation.
And Physic is just like wide-eyed and nodding silently.
Yeah, Raphael's been strangely quiet throughout this whole trip. He feels like he's let Rin down. But when he sees the depiction, you see this frustration and anger in his eyes as he nods quietly.
It is as I feared, then. What you have facing you is what is known as a corpse light. It is, as you say, connected to the will-o'-the-wisp. Sadly, this is no normal will-o'-the-wisp. It is, in fact, one that has starved to death. It is a creature that no longer is able to feed on the anguish and terror of its victims, but rather struggles to survive by inhabiting the dead. They are vile creatures, but when left alone, tend to cause no harm. I imagine you still want to pursue retrieving the body of your fallen friend. I can assure you that the elven bodies you saw originally have little to do with this creature. They are merely vessels for them to survive within.
How can we exorcise these corpse light from our friend?
These creatures are quite rare. There is little information on them, but what I do know is that they themselves are indeed undead, and if they have no way of re-entering a corpse, they will wink out of existence with extraordinary speed. Once they are removed from their host, they are extraordinarily weak. I do not know if you'll have any benefit of this little bit of information within the fog venom, but they are extraordinarily weak in the sunlight, that the sun barely permeates through that area.
This is useful information. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. I know you're probably looking to preserve the integrity of your fallen friend as best you can. It will be difficult to destroy this host while keeping it intact.
Do you know, tell me, is it just sunlight, or would bright light help as well?
As far as I know, it is the power of the sun itself. Simply flashing a torch in front of it, I can't imagine having any extra effect. But, alas, I don't truly know, to be perfectly honest.
I think I might have a way to exorcise these spirits. If they are, in fact, spirits, Pharasma has given me a little bit of extra sway upon the souls. Are they souls, Mr. Morlebent?
These creatures are certainly strange. There is little known about the Will-o'-the-Wisp, their origin, and what their purpose is. They are intelligent creatures, despite what people suggest. Are they souls? I'm not sure I can answer. But are they undead? Absolutely. By the edicts that you follow, Raphael, in your tutelage under Pharasma, they must be stopped regardless of the contents of their soul.
This is true. We shall stop them.
Rin smirks a little with what might be satisfaction and nods her head. Thank you, Molebint. You have been most helpful. Now, she turns to the three of you, let us go. And she steps out of Odd Stories and onto the road and starts to briskly walk north as if to leave town.
Before they leave, Raphael shakes Morlebent's hand.
It was good to see you again, Mr. Morlebent.
It has been too long.
It has. And thank you for this information.
I trust when you have time, you will return to me and tell me all you have learned at the Spire.
The lady shall keep it.
Indeed she shall.
He turns and follows the rest of them out.
And you head north, assuming everyone follows Rin heading north. She walks with a lot of purpose and leads you straight down the trail and past the Stone Ring Pond to the edge of the forest, the start of the Gauntlet Trail. She stops for a moment in front of the trail and takes a deep breath. My friends, I am ashamed to admit that I should have volunteered myself for Samal's retrieval to begin with. But I am afraid I have an inner turmoil. It is difficult for me when I do not see the sky above me, the stars over my head, the sun itself. You may or may not know, I suffer from a phobia, claustrophobia I am told it is called. She steps into the forest with a focus straight ahead, the canopy of the trees above her as she continues her stride. It is difficult for me. It is a struggle. There is menace everywhere, in all the angles and shapes. I cannot explain. It is not rational. But it is how I feel. I will search for Samal's body with you, and I will help you return it. And I will take everything I have to do so. Allow me to speak with you as we travel through. It will help me. It would help me focus. And she's growing visibly more disturbed and upset the farther she walks into the forest.
Not this year, Ren. Not yet.
I grew up in a small village in Kionen. It was known as Glitterbow. But would you travel to the nation today, you would not find it there. It was destroyed 10 years ago by demons in service to Tree Razor, a very ambitious demon from the abyss. For all of my life, I had visions, glimpses into the future
and the world around me, but far away. My village knew this, my parents knew this, and I saw the coming onslaught of these demons. For many years, they knew that my visions were correct, and they trusted me. I am not sad to see that my village is destroyed, because you see, no one perished. The demons arrived, and they saw the place abandoned. And in their frustration, they burnt it down. But little did they know that we had set many a magical trap.
And again, a slight smile does manage to come across her face with that statement.
It is most pleasing to know that whatever has bestowed this gift upon me has sought to allow me and my kin to destroy great evil. When I came of age a few years later, I decided to set out into the world and make my own way. I, of course, could not help but gather trinkets and oddities, and when my bags and trunks became too burdened, I sat here in Otari 4 years ago. It is like a home to me, though I do not think it will be my place forever. For now, it is a home to protect, and I must do my part to protect those who would protect it.
By this time, you arrive at the entrance of Gauntlight Ruins again. She takes a deep breath as you come out of the woods and a sigh out and turns to you all.
Which way do we go?
We go to the east, Rin. Let's be safe. The bridge is perilous and we found our own path. Follow us.
Let us be on the way then.
And you make your way through the usual route, across the light little river, and into the keep, and the L-shaped hallway. And she says,
I see these are the doors you described, and the room that leads to the secret door.
She keeps, at this point, looking up, and usually standing on rubble where the ceiling has collapsed so that she can see upward, doing her best to maintain her composure.
Which way would you like to approach?
Ren, you should prepare yourself. I feel the place that we are going into as great evil, and there is no sign of the stars in there. Only one star, an orange, four-pointed star. It's not the one you seek. Tulak will move forward, avoiding notice.
Raphael defends.
And Bryn does her best to stay within your ranks and not lag behind, but certainly not get ahead. Entering inside these rooms, she grows more and more anxious, but continues to try and steel herself.
As they get to the secret door, Raphael puts a paw on her shoulder and repeats himself.
Not this year. Not yet.
And he draws his dagger.
And Rin draws her star knife.
The stupidest of knives.
But so appropriate for her. Cosmic Caravan, stars.
Yeah.
So thematic.
Tulak pops the door and stealths his way inside.
She follows behind, part of her hoping that there is a hole in the roof here, but sees there's not. It's very intact here. Steps in and is aghast at the sight of all of the skulls carved into the walls, turns to see the stained glass windows, but her gaze is immediately put upon the standing, battered corpse of Samal. At this point, nearly unrecognizable from bloat and early onset decay, and this horrible, horribly, nearly skeletal elven corpse, now standing at the altar together, as if waiting. She takes a deep breath, very slowly. I suggest we do not converse with this evil. Her anxiety turning into near anger. I suggest we destroy it now. Focus on the elven one. I will try and retrieve Samal.
Well, third time's the charm, I guess.
And we're gonna roll for initiative.
Dope.
Oh fuck! We don't get a bonus turn to set up.
You sure don't.
Balls.
They know you're there. You know they're there.
I think you probably would have cast magic weapon going into this, but it's fine. I get it.
You didn't choose a little exploration action there earlier. I'll at least let you have defend if you want.
Cast. Yeah. Well, he's defending. I definitely did choose that.
Okay. Oh, you did. Okay.
Casting a spell wouldn't be part of an exploration action. It would be a setup to an encounter action. So
Fair enough.
that makes sense.
All right. Let's boogie. Physic, what'd you get?
Red hot 14.
Ooh, so red hot. Raphael?
Not great. That's 6 on the die for a 13.
That's a slightly less red tone for hotness. 2 luck.
12.
Oh, even less
5
red
on the
in
die.
hotness.
Like, if this was a color gradient, it would just be like perfect shades less red between all of us.
Yeah, I never roll good inish. That's a fact.
And combat begins in this dark, dirty, dank, cold, damp, crazy place. And to start is going to be the corpse light that inhabits Samal.
Are you getting paid by the adjective over there?
And it is going to march forward, stride, and then step right up to Raphael, wasting no time at all. And Samal's rigor mortis hands lash out at you with a claw attack for a 21 to hit.
Fuck me. I'm gonna use my reaction to shield block. Holy
Okay.
shit. Actually, you know what? Fair is fair. I would not have had my shield out to do that, so I am just going to take it.
Well, I thought you were defending on your way in.
I was, but I would have to have manifested my shield based on the Spirit Forger rules, and I did not specifically say that I did, so...
That's why James loves Pathfinder, is there's lots of nitty-gritty rules. He loves to navigate those. So that's why he keeps limiting himself.
I hate it, but I do. Yeah.
And he strikes at you with an 8 slashing damage.
Okay.
But that's all the actions available. And it's Rin's turn. And Rin raises a hand and gets ready to cast. But she needs to roll a will save. As the walls and ceiling feel like they're closing in on her. She steels herself, raises her hand, with 2 actions, cast heal at Samal's body. The corpse light rolls a fortitude save of 9, which, with a DC like 21, I think, or something, is a critical failure, meaning this thing absolutely goes down. Samal collapses to the ground, stopped in his tracks, collapses to the ground, and the corpse light rises from the body. This little blue orb, just like you've seen before. And now when you look closer, you can see that skull flickering within. And Rin throws her star knife right over Raphael's head. 27 to hit. kills the corpse light.
That was so fast.
And Physic, it's your turn.
Okay, so Physic will attempt a battle medicine on Raphael. Oh, fuck. That's a nat one.
Fuck. Suck.
That's so bad.
You're not a real chirurgeon, are you? You're a fake chirurgeon.
I'm almost tempted to
boy.
start saying chirurgeon now, because surgeon is clearly not what I'm doing. That's 7 damage.
Okay, I'm down to 9 HP.
Okay. Anything else from your Physic?
Shame, regret, and drawing
one action of shame and regret.
Yeah, one action of shame and regret, and while being full of shame and regret, I will draw a minor healing potion.
Oh man, that was your first attempt at battle medicine, wasn't it? Since you got it. And,
Yeah, remember when I was all excited about getting the medic archetype?
oh man. All right, Raphael, you're up. You just got hit by Samal, stabbed in the arse by a syringe from Physic. What do you do?
Yeah. Yeah, so first action, he's going to step forward, past the corpse of Samal. Second action, he reaches out his empty left hand, and this blue glowing energy moves down through his hand and solidifies into a shield as he manifests his soul-forged armament.
Wicked.
And then third action, he will raise said shield.
And it is the other corpse's turn, which will go right ahead and meander over to Raphael.
He's gonna die here, boys. Just so we're clear.
Oof. I'm actually scared. I'm scared to do this, but you put yourself up front, and it lunges at you with its claw. 22 to hit.
I will shield block.
Okay. 11 damage coming through.
Okay, that is 5, 6 to the shield, and 6 to him.
Last action lunges at you with its jaws. 10 to hit.
Oh, hey,
That is a miss.
didn't see that coming.
Tulak, what you do? What you do, boy?
Tulak just raises his hands and fires magic missiles for 3 actions at this piece of garbage.
It's a bit rude, but okay.
6,
6,
3,
3.
and another 6 for a total of 15 points of damage.
Good. Quick round of damage. Still up, though. Top of the order. Rin Savinci rolls another will save. Nails it. That was a 30 and a 29 back to back.
Ooh.
And raises her hand again to cast Disrupt Undead. Another sweet fortitude save, I believe. Yes, from the corpse light. Oh, 7 this time. Looks like another critical failure.
It is. What level did she cast
It is a 3rd level cantrip, it looks like.
it? Okay, so that will be 3d6, and the target is enfeebled for 1 round.
Well, I'm reasonably sure that she will knock it on its arse with this. Oh, and she doesn't. So it is enfeebled. It's still up. And she will spend her next action moving up and around it to flank Physic.
Physic will take a step to the northeast and administer a minor healing potion to Raphael. Something he can't conceivably hurt him with.
Roll me a D100.
But it's...
On an 86,
still-
you drop it on the ground and it shatters.
It still might go poorly.
Okay.
But let's see. For 3 HP back.
I will take it.
It's
You just walk up behind Raphael, grab him by the forehead, pull his head back, and drop this potion down his
Pick him
throat.
up by the scruff of the neck and just.
yeah. Just do like the massage of the throat, like when you're giving a dog a pill. It's really good.
I like the idea of you taking an extra action just to pour it into his horn of Gondor and then pour it into his mouth. All right, is that your turn? Step up, draw, administer.
I already had it drawn because that was my
Okay.
third
Oh, you did.
action
That's right.
for my last one. So, yeah, with my last action, I will draw my crossbow.
And Raphael, you're up. This corpse is... I mean, it's been looking worse right from the beginning, so you don't really have much of anything to go on. But it's your turn.
Yeah. Raphael is going to put his hands together and use all 3 actions to bust a heal for the day.
Okay.
And that is a fortitude save from you.
Ooh, I rolled real big on that one. 28.
Yeah, that's a pass.
But that's for half damage, right? Or is it no damage with heal?
It says it gets a basic fortitude save.
Basic fortitude means half damage for save, yeah.
Okay. So that is 7 half to you and 7 back to me, so that puts me up to
All right.
13.
And
which I'll
it
fucking
goes
take.
down, and the corpse light inside surfaces. And that was a 3-action heal, yeah?
Yeah, that was all 3 actions, yeah.
And
I needed HP back real bad.
the corpse light quickly floats over to one of the corpses left behind and spends an action entering it.
Hold on. Didn't you say that the corpse had to be killed within the last 24 hours?
I misspoke. I was wondering if you'd bring that up, and I couldn't remember if I had corrected or not, but I did misspeak. It's not dead within the last 24 hours. It's that it hasn't been occupied by a corpse light within the last 24 hours.
Okay.
So it can't
I gotta stop going before the corpse.
yeah, right? It can't take Samal's body right now, that's for sure. But it does claim this one and regains some hit points for doing so. And then it spends its next action moving over towards Rin. It's back up, but it hasn't done any damage to anybody. Tulok.
All right. Tulok will stride to next to it and cast Chill Touch.
Ooh, okay.
So you will roll me a Fortitude save.
Will I? What sort of traits is this to have? It's the first time we've seen it. Let's check. Let's check what it's got.
All right. It is touch. Targets, living or undead. Cast time is 2 actions. Cantrip, necromancy, negative, occult.
All right, and you want a fortitude save, you said?
I do.
Or you have to roll to hit?
Nope, fortitude save.
7.
Okay, so you critically fail and are flat-footed and fleeing for 1 round.
Whoa!
Oh, you also need to succeed at a will save.
Okay. Okay.
Because, on a critical failure, the target is also fleeing for 1 round unless it succeeds at a will save.
Okay. 13.
Still a failure.
Oh. And does it do damage?
Get
Does this do
fucked, you
damage?
Spooky patio lantern.
It does not. It is just flat-footed and fleeing.
Oh, I didn't know this didn't do damage. Okay. All right. Flat-footed. Fleeing. Brutal. That's
Yeah,
so
he reaches
brutal.
up to touch it, and this purple light emanates around his hand, but then it seems to kind of freeze like crystals of ice, and he touches it, and he's flat-footed and fleeing.
Crazy. All right, so move, cast. It comes back to Rin, who reaches out and casts Heal again at level 3 with a touch, 1 action. Fortitude save from this guy. 18 fails. How much would I roll for that again, James?
It depends on what spell slot you're casting it at.
It's a 3rd level spell slot.
So 1d8 times 3.
So 3d8.
Yeah. So for every spell slot you cast it at higher, so heightened +1, it increases the damage by 1d8.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, so I just did it at a 1st level spell slot.
And then cast Disrupt Undead back to back with Heal. So another Fortitude save, making full use of her action economy right now. And it fails again and takes 11 damage. The corpse falls, and the corpse light emerges yet again. Physic, what do you got?
Oh, I really don't even know what hurts these things. Besides positive damage.
I mean,
positive
most
energy.
things hurt it. There's actually not
Okay.
that much that it's immune to. Yeah.
Well, in that case, I will stride to the northwest, so I'm not blocked by Ren. We'll reload the crossbow and give it a shot. Fuck, for a 12 to hit.
I think you're the lowest roller in the group.
Yeah, it's been a bad session of rolling for me.
The amount of darts you've thrown and crossbow bolts you fired off and not hit, and then none of the healing that you want to do, it's brutal.
Yeah, well, I guess that's just the way the world goes.
And anything else from the ineffective physic?
Gonna reload his crossbow again dejectedly as all get out.
Okay. Raphael, save the day.
First action, Raphael is also going to cast Disrupt Undead, but heightened to 1st level.
Okay.
So I require a Fortitude save from you.
Fortitude, 16.
That is just barely a fail, so that is 2d6 of positive energy damage. And that is 7 points of positive energy.
And describe your kill of this tiny little blue light.
He just, focuses inward. He's bearing that pharasmic, soul-bound shield. And he focuses inward, and the soul starts to flicker and fade and vibrate really quickly as if it's transitioning. And he disrupts its hold on the mortal plane and sends this corpus light back to Pharasma in the boneyard.
And you have successfully recovered the body of Smallketh.
Stabilize?
I don't think so.
Anyone get a create undead ritual? Stemming the Tide is an actual play podcast of the Adventure Path Abomination Vaults and is produced by the Uncharted North Network. Stemming the Tide uses trademarks and/or copyrights owned by Paizo Inc., used under Paizo's community use policy. We are expressly prohibited from charging you to use or access this content. Stemming the Tide is not published, endorsed, or specifically approved by Paizo. For more information about Paizo Inc. and Paizo products, visit paizo.com. Music is composed by Will Savino and artwork by Greyhood. Stemming the Tide is recorded remotely using Foundry Virtual Tabletop. If you wish to connect with us or support this project and projects to come, we can be found at unchartednorth.ca, patreon.com/unchartednorth, and on all major social media platforms. Links to all credits can be found in the episode description and our website. Thanks for tuning in.